order to discuss about the concept of the boundary layer. In order to discuss about the concept of the boundary layer, so let me take a small, let me take a flat plate. Let me take a flat plate of, let me take a flat plate of length. Let me take a flat plate of length L, of length capital L. And this solid flat plate on one side, it is resting on some solid surface. So the flat surface on one side, there is no fluid available on it. There is no fluid available on one side of the plate. So let me indicate with a hatched region. Let me indicate this within a hatched region. Yes. Now, so what I'm doing is, so I have taken a flat plate of length, the fixed length of capital L. I have taken a flat plate of fixed length of capital L, and on this one, what we are doing is now I am sending some fluid with a velocity of. So I am just sending some fluid with a velocity of. Let us take that velocity of the fluid is equivalent to some free stream velocity. Let us take it is V infinity. So where V infinity represents, the free stream velocity, where V infinity represents the free stream velocity, that is the velocity. So that it is a free stream velocity. That means the velocity which is supplied. So that we are writing it as a V infinity. And when V infinity is supplied, or when the fluid is moving with the velocity of V infinity, now with the density of rho, let us write the density of rho. So the density of the fluid is rho, and at the standard atmospheric condition, when this fluid is moving over the flat plate, so what do we notice is initially, so as the fluid lines or as the velocity hits the particular flat plate, at this point the fluid has become zero velocity, and as the velocity is propagating, or as the fluid is moving ahead, what is happening? So let me take it on the axis even. So in the x and y direction, so when I'm moving along, so when along the x direction, so initially at the point where it has hit, it has went for the zero velocity, and slowly the velocity is incrementing along this direction, and it continued to increase up to certain length. It has continued to increase up to certain length, and after that again there is a disturbance, small slight disturbance is coming inside the fluid flow, and thereafter again the disturbance has been increased, and complete fluid flow has become a zigzag in manner. Complete fluid flow has become in a zigzag in manner. Now the question comes, so what has happened? Why the fluid till this point? It has maintained? So that means although at the surface the velocity has become zero, but the fluid was moving, the fluid velocity along the y direction, if you see, so there the velocity was, so initially when the velocity is equal to zero to the velocity, so if you take the velocity available here is equal to u, so then V infinity is approximately u. V infinity is approximately equivalent to the u velocity from this. Okay, along the y direction the velocity has increased, but at this, after certain length L, so that is not along the total length of L, but after moving certain length, the flow has become, so got disturbance induced in it, and later the fluid got slightly disturbance induced in it, and after that the fluid has went for the complete disturbance. Zones. So that means the disturbance has increased inside this fluid, right? So let us draw the flow pattern, how it has happened, or how it is moving inside this particular zone. So inside this zone, if I am drawing the fluid velocity, so the fluid velocity was increasing along these lines. The fluid velocity was increasing up to this line. There was a variation up to this line, and after this line, the V infinity is approximately equal to the u. After this line, the V infinity is approximately equal to U. So that means I am drawing this velocity lines which have started or initiated from the point. So let me write it as A and this point B. So even they are initiated from the point A and C and D. So in between this point A and C, the velocity was, although at the surface the velocity has become 0, and slowly it started incrementing on that one, and finally it has become V infinity is approximately equal to the U. It has reached to that particular value, and we are up to above this layer. So there is no such influence. So above this layer, all the velocities, when I'm plotting it above this layer, all the velocities were having, without any difference, the velocity was incrementing, or without any velocity difference, the fluid was flowing in this. Now the question comes, sir, why? Or let us see individually again each section. Let us see again individually each section what exactly is happening. Now the question comes, sir, what happened in this zone? Why the surface it is having a 0 velocity, and as I am moving on top of it, why the velocity got incremented on this one, or how the velocity got incremented on this one? So in order to address that one, in order to address that point, so we have to recollect our statement of shear stress tau is equal to mu into du by dy. We have to recollect our statement that tau is equal to mu into du by dy, where tau is a shear stress term and mu is the coefficient of viscosity, and du states the velocity in between the points 1 and 2, and dy is the distance from the point 1 and 2. And this statement has already told that when it is a Newtonian fluid is being passed over the solid surface, there will be surface shear will be happening on that particular fluid, and the fluid will be attaining a 0 velocity at the body, and slowly when we are moving away from that solid boundary, the velocity will increase along the y-axis. The velocity will increase along the y-axis up to certain height, and after that height, the velocity again will be equivalent to the, or approximately equivalent to the free stream velocity. Will be approximately equivalent to the free stream velocity. So that means here we would like to say that at the walls there is a shear stress happening on the fluid flow, and due to that shear flow the velocity has become 0, and along the y direction this velocity is slowly incrementing, and when we have plotted that velocity variation, the velocity variation is parabolic in nature. The velocity variation is parabolic in nature. Now talking about the behavior of the fluid, so as far as the behavior of the fluid is concerned in this zone where the fluid has maintained, or wherein the fluid has been varied vertically along this one, so there the fluid flow is completely laminar in nature. There the fluid flow is completely laminar in nature. So then we can call it as laminar zone. Then we can call that zone as in between the A and C. So in between the zones A and C, we can call it as a laminar zone. It is a laminar zone where the fluid flow, so that is one line to the other line, they are parallel to each other and they are not intersecting. So that flow we can call it as a laminar flow. And if you are interested about the plotting the velocity variation, this is how the velocity variation is varying along this particular point. So initially at the boundary velocity is 0, slowly the velocity is getting incremented in this, and this region is called as a laminar zone. Now the next point. So if I am entering into the CD zone, so that in this CD zone what has happened, so we told that there is slightly disturbance in the flow has started. So there is slightly disturbance in the flow has started in this zone. So that means the flow is nowhere laminar in nature. So that means this line to the next line, they are not in the laminar in zone, laminar or the flow lines are not parallel. So they are started, there is some disturbance raised in this particular region after reaching the point of C, after reaching the point of C. So there is slightly disturbance induced. So that means the flow is nowhere laminar, and the flow is started transition. The flow started transitioning from one stage, so that is one type to the other type. So that zone we'll call it as a transition zone. That zone we'll call it as a transition zone. And if we see after traveling a distance that is from the C to D, if we continue to allow the fluid flow, that fluid flow has turned completely into the zigzag manner. This fluid flow has continued to move in the complete disturbance of the fluid flow has occurred, and this is continuously making the in the zigzag manner, and this fluid flow or this zone is called as a turbulent zone. This zone is called as a turbulent zone. So whereas in the laminar zone, the fluid lines are parallel to each other, and at the surface of it, the velocity of the fluid lines has become zero, and along the y direction, the velocity was incrementing slowly, and up to certain extent, the flow lines were parallel to each other. And beyond that particular point C, the flow has been induced some disturbance, and that zone we call it as a transition zone. And whereas from the point D and beyond that particular point, the fluid has not maintained any uniform shape of it or not maintained a parallel to each other, but they are completely traveling in a zigzag manner. They completely got traveled in a zigzag manner, or the disturbance has increased. That zone is called as a turbulent zone. That zone is called as a turbulent zone. So on a flat plate, we have demonstrated with laminar zone, transition zone, and a turbulent zone. Laminar zone, transition zone, and a turbulent zone we have demonstrated here in this one. So on this flat plate, this is possible. So where the fluid flow is initially traveling with this, and within this region only this behavior is happening. Now what is happening above this one, because my velocity is traveling even in this one. So above this region, the fluid will be behaving like inviscid in nature. The fluid will be behaving like inviscid in nature above this particular red line, and bottom of that one, so that will be behaving like a real fluid. That will be behaving like a real fluid or viscous fluid. And whereas outside that region, it will be behaving like an inviscid fluid. So real fluids and ideal fluids, both we can see on this particular zone, so that it is laminar zone, transition zone, and turbulent zone. Whereas in the laminar zones, flow lines are parallel to each other, whereas in the transition zone, flow disturbance slightly initiates, but it is not laminar, either it is not turbulent. Whereas in the turbulent zone, flow completely disturbance propagates and increases, and there in that one it continues to propagate and flow completely gets disturbance in this zone. So that zone is known as a turbulent. So just now, so in this session we will see what exactly this laminar boundary layer, transition boundary layer, and turbulent boundary layers. So here we can see that when the free stream velocity of u infinity is being traveling on this one. So let us make it as in the x direction and the y direction. So that is the axis, we have defined it in this one. And when the fluid is moving along, as it is demonstrated in the previous picture. So you can see here, when as along the fluid, when we are capturing that effectiveness of the velocity variation, if you see the velocity variation, and finally when it is all the points of it leading edge, when it is being attached, they are parabolically varying on this one. And till I have my critical length, up to the critical length, I can get this particular laminar zone. I can say that it is a laminar zone. And where in the turbulent zones, the disturbance started, but not completely, the disturbance has increased. And whereas in this zone, if you see, the fluid is behaving completely. So that means up to the transition region, the fluid has become slightly disturbance has induced. Whereas in the turbulent region, the flow cannot be defined within a different velocity. So as it is having a completely turbulence in nature, as completely turbulence or completely zigzag in nature, the fluid is moving. So this we call it as a turbulent region or the turbulent boundary layer. And whereas the boundary layer forms, so that is a layer formed within this region, and the layer which is formed within this region, that we call it as a laminar boundary layer. And the layer which is available in this particular turbulent, so that it is known as a turbulent boundary layer. Now the question comes, so actually what exactly is boundary layer thickness? So we said that as per the definition is concerned, the boundary layer thickness is a thickness developed over the thickness developed over this particular solid body, and it will be represented. It will be represented by the delta. It will be represented by the delta, and delta will be generally representing the boundary layer thickness. And in the laminar zone, this is exactly equivalent to the height till where I'm getting that separation. I'm getting that flow variations, and where free stream velocity v infinity is equal to u naught. So till that point, the boundary layer thickness can be measured. Now coming to the turbulent boundary layer. Now coming to the turbulent boundary layer. What exactly is happening in this one is, even in the turbulent boundary layer, we are getting one more boundary layer formation, or one more layer formation in the turbulent zone. So that layer we will be calling it as viscous sublayer, the layer which is formed in the turbulent zone. So that means there are totally two boundary layer thickness available when we are experimenting over a flat plate. So that it is when we are in the laminar zone. In the laminar zone, the boundary layer thickness is exactly equivalent to till where we have that velocity variation. So that is v infinity is approximately equivalent to that. Till that one we are saying that this is a boundary layer thickness and generally represented by a delta. But whereas in the turbulent region also, we are getting a boundary layer thickness, and but it will not be the height of, as like we have it in as much as we have it in the laminar region. But very small height even can be noticed, or very small layer we can notice even in the turbulent zone, and that region we will be calling it as a laminar sublayer. That region we'll call it as a laminar sublayer, or turbulent, or in the turbulent zone. So that we can say it is a boundary layer formed in a turbulent, but it is called actually laminar sublayer. So that it is a viscous sublayer or the laminar sublayer which will be formed in the turbulent region. So totally there are two boundary layer thickness will be developed. Now how do we measure the thickness of the boundary layer is, so when we are measuring the fluid flow height, so the fluid flow height or the thickness height till where the influence has been available, till where the influence of this particular fluid flow is available, so that height we can measure it as, or that height is equivalent to the thickness of the boundary. That height is exactly equivalent to the thickness of the boundary. So that it is known as a boundary layer thickness. And if you are measuring in the turbulent region, so we may not get the exact picture of how much the thickness is available in the boundary layer, as the turbulent nature cannot be easily predicted. So generally the boundary layer thickness would be available in the laminar zone, and another boundary layer thickness we can available in the laminar sublayer or viscous sublayer, so that it is available in the turbulent zone. So when we are talking about the viscous sublayer or the laminar sublayer, so there is an interference between the turbulent regular flow and this particular viscous sublayer flow, and that region we will be calling it as a overlap layer. So that layer we will be calling it as an overlap layer and a buffer layer and a viscous sublayer or the laminar sublayer. So totally when you are talking about the flow over a flat plate, so we have two boundary layer thickness formed. So one it is on the laminar zone and another one is in the turbulent zone. Now in order to make my entire fluid flow, so now if there is a question like, in order to make my entire flow to be laminar, or in order to predict what is my critical length or the distance to make my fluid flow to be laminar, so that can be predicted by using or by taking help from the Reynolds number, where it is rho v L by mu, as we are applying it to the case of flow over the bodies. So that it is on the surface of the bodies we are applying this one. So from this we can predict what is the critical length of this particular one, and based upon this critical length we can define how much region we can get if you are taking the total length to be L. So how much would be the critical length of this one? So based upon that we can define. So this is what the critical length up to which the laminar boundary layer can be achieved, and within that the boundary layer thickness can be defined. Boundary layer thickness can be defined, so that I am talking about the laminar boundary layer thickness. Boundary layer thickness, or when we say simply boundary layer thickness also, it is laminar boundary layer thickness only. So when you are talking about the boundary layer thickness in the turbulent zone, so that is actually laminar sublayer, but it is not the boundary layer, it is actually laminar sublayer. It is actually laminar sublayer.